Welcome back to In Case You Missed It. We're going to be giving a lot of updates today. We're going to be focusing on Carla, a DACA recipient who was detained by immigration in Tucson, Arizona. We're going to give a little bit of updates about the green cards, the legal permanent residence, and a couple of developments that have been happening there. And lastly, we're going to wrap up with some things that are causing a lot of fear within the immigrant community around master hearings or court dates that are coming up. So we're going to do that. But before we get to it, because it is summer and it is over 100 degrees in the state of Arizona, I want to know your tips about what is your getaway or your favorite treat during the summer. I know for me, my favorite getaway is actually in Tucson by Mount Lemmon, which is about 10 to 20 degrees cooler. And I love eating gelato during this season. So please drop it in your comments. I want to know your getaway or your treat. Let's get into it. Last, in case you missed it, Jose was sharing a little bit more about the DACA case from Carla, an influencer in Tucson, Arizona, who was detained by ICE. Thankfully, she has been released. I want to give a big shout out to all the organizations down in Tucson who really supported on that case, and her attorney, and more importantly, you in the community who made those calls, signed that petition, or were sharing the story about Carla. Thankfully, her case has been dismissed and she is back at home. And I know that this is one of the first steps for her to continue fighting for her case. I know she mentioned she is waiting on her DACA renewal. So sending you a lot of energy, Carla. If you're watching this, know that you have a whole community that is backing you up. And I really loved the message actually that Carla sent, that there are many other DACA recipients that have been impacted by this, by DACA delays, by detentions, by arrests. So if you are a DACA recipient, just a reminder that you're not alone, that there are resources. Please submit your renewal within 8 to 9 months. Make sure that you're going to a resource page in case if you have any questions, but don't let procrastination be the winner right now. It's really important that you're renewing, that you know your rights, and then you know what to do in case if you were to be encountering with any type of law enforcement, especially ICE. Okay, to all my besties who are applying for their green card or have a family or a loved one who has a green card, or you are thinking about renewing your green card, aka your legal permanent status, this message is for you. It's really, really critical that if you missed the little short video that I did explainer about last week about what happened with USCIS announcing that there were going to be changes on green card processes on May 21st, it's really critical right now that you are paying attention. So who does it impact? What does it mean? And what can you do? I broke that down on the other video. You can go check it out so you can see more on the details. But what I think that I want you to really pay attention today is that if you have not submitted your green card and you were planning on doing that, this is the moment that you don't want to give it or place it up to luck. You want to go to an immigration attorney ASAP, because every case is different, every case is unique. And due to this new memo from USCIS, it is unclear whether people are going to be able to file and move forward with their process from within the United States. So they're going to have to go to another country where they were born to do that process. So these are high stakes, and that's why it's really important. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but it is really important that knowledge is power. So it's really critical that you're looking at your own merits of your case, of your best friend, of your loved one, to really figure it out if it makes sense for you to be applying for a green card in these moments. If you are someone who already submitted the paperwork or know someone who already submitted the paperwork, make sure that you are connecting to an immigration attorney. If you did it alone or with an organization, if you did it with an organization, go ahead and talk to them. Try to ask them how this can potentially impact your case and how you should be prepared. And if you did it alone, this is the moment that you would want to go to a consultation to get a little bit of more extra information. I know many attorneys are talking about potentially litigating this case because they don't think that that's in alignment with current law. So definitely there's a lot of changes, a lot of fear. So let's don't let fear be the winner here. It is completely okay for you to presence that fear. My therapist says that fear is an indicator that helps you to protect yourself. So let's acknowledge it and let's leverage it and use it as a protection. And that protection is by getting information, getting knowledge before you make any decisions about your future. Have you ever heard about Deportation Express? Well, that's something that we are kind of seeing and that many people in the community are referring to as something that has been done only in very specific cases back in the day before this administration, typically in Tucson, something called Operation Streamline, where they would technically see 30, 50 people without attorney, without legal representation, read them something, and then people will technically be signing their voluntary departure without them knowing the implications of that. So what has been concerning is that this week around Chicago, Indianapolis, and other places around the country, we've been hearing about that people have been given these mass preliminary hearings where they technically have 30 people come in. They either advance their hearing, some of them didn't even know that they had a hearing, so they're not showing up to the courtrooms because they made that changes, and some of them are just being called and then their hearing is being put forward. So then they come, there's 30 people, they appear in front of the judge, and they're pressured to be put into removal proceedings without having any access to legal representation. So this is something that we're very concerned because it's definitely impeding on people's rights of getting an attorney and really being able to make an informed decision. We know that this administration has been looking at every single way from delaying DACAs, from being able to arrest people that are even U.S. citizens to really go forward with their mass deportation agenda. So this is something that we want to make sure that the community is aware. I'm not trying to make you feel scared. I'm not trying for you to be living in fear, but I want you to be prepared, and I want you to know that this is a tactic that currently this administration is moving forward. So let's talk about what can you do during these moments. If you have a hearing that is pending, maybe, I don't know, next year, in 6 months, I would highly encourage you to visit the link below and put your A number, which is typically an A number that is given to immigrants that have a process. So if you click on the link, as I mentioned, right there provided, we also did a post less than 24 hours ago, so make sure you go and check it out. And it has the link as well, where you can be able to look and figure out when is your upcoming hearing. We don't want you to be like other people who were taken aback, who didn't know that their hearing was changed, because then technically if you don't show up and present yourself to that hearing, technically the judge can put you in deportation proceedings or removal proceedings. So it's really critical that at this moment you're going and checking that link. If you do have an attorney, if you have already hired an attorney, talk to them, give them a call, send them an email to figure it out if they have received any type of notices. If you have changed your address, that's also really critical that you look at that link, more importantly, to ensure that nothing has changed within your upcoming potential hearing. And then if you don't have an attorney, visit our resources as well, Aliento AC.org/resources, so you can go ahead and get a consultation with a trusted attorney that we recommend. Again, we don't really get anything in change of recommending these attorneys, but they have been working in the community and been doing a really good job. So we just want to make sure that you have access to that. I know this can cause a lot of fear and a lot of stress, so just remember that you're not alone and that information, it is power. I know we covered a lot, and it was a roller coaster of emotions, from really being excited for Carla that she's back home to really understanding all these different changes that are happening with immigration. Just a reminder that you're not alone. You don't have to deal with these changes, this uncertainty on your own. We're here to support you. So definitely, if you have a question, you can drop it up in this video in the comment section, or if it's sensitive information, please DM us. We don't want your information to be out in the public. And then if you need resources, you can always go to alientoac.org/resources. We'll see you until next time. Have a good day.